Franchon Crews-Dezurn versus Savannah Marshall, 10 rounds for Crews-Dezurn super middleweight women's undisputed championships. This should be a good one. Let's get into it. Let's start with the champ, Franchon Crews-Dezurn. 8 wins, 1 loss, 2 wins by way of knockout. The undisputed champion is now 36 years old, and she doesn't fight a whole lot, right? Early on in the early stages of her career, she would fight twice a year. Now we see her once a year, and as the body gets older, it takes a little bit more to keep it intact and a little bit more work to keep it going. Crews-Dezurn's only loss comes from when she fought Claressa Shields in the first fight of both of their professional career. 4-round fight. I mean, 4-round is hard to really do anything, especially if you're losing the first 2 rounds. You know what I'm saying? It's tough to come back from. It's only 4 rounds, especially on the women's side, is 2 minutes per round. So that's just very tough. But after that, right, she won her first title in 3 fights against Marcela Cornejo, whom Shields just beat up every single round in their recent fight. A few fights later, she fights Cornejo again for another vacant title, and she beat her again and won another title. The fight after that, she fought, I think, AkeemHaynes, where she won that fight where she lost that fight by split decision, where her opponent was caught on some things, if you know what I mean. But that was a fight where Crews-Dezurn, man, fought a very tough, grueling fight, man. She got hit a lot, and she threw a whole lot of punches as well. Both of these women were standing in front of each other, swinging heavily and going at each other, right? It was an exciting fight, right? But it was a fight where Crews-Dezurn, man, she took a lot of hits. She took a lot of punishment in that fight. But Haynes had a little extra, to the mix, if you know what I'm saying. But we moved past that. In her most recent fight against Ellen Siderus, where she defended her belt and took her opponent's 2 belts. I got to give a lot of credit to Crews-Dezurn in that fight, because she was the smaller woman who was fighting like the bigger woman to me. She was patient. She was waiting for her time, waiting for the right shots. She punched in combinations and not just one shot and then move around the ring, not just pot shotting. She was really imposing her will. She was gunning for the knockout early in the fight with heavy pressure and big punches from different angles and different variety of shots, looping punches, lunging forward with flurries of punches. She was just doing a whole bunch of different things. And as the shorter athlete, you got to mix up your attack when you're trying to close the gap. In the 4th round of that fight, Siderus landed a popping shot, and for a second, it backed up Crews-Dezurn, had her fighting off the back foot and losing her balance. But Crews-Dezurn, being the veteran that she is, when she loses momentum, she knows right away, I have to do something to get it back. When she got rocked, she would right back land a shot of her own to keep both opponents honest and reset and get back into the swing of things. But it was a good back and forth fight. Both women showed a lot of heart and toughness. But, personally, from my eye, man, she looked a little slow to me. Right? Her punches weren't as snappy as it once was. Accurate, yes, but with a little less speed on it and power as well. But she fought well. She got the job done. Again, she's 36, but she's fighting at a high level. She is a champion for a reason, and she's not going to just let Savannah Marshall have her way and take her titles away from her. So it's going to be interesting, because Crews-Dezurn, she's a warrior, and I'm expecting nothing short of that in this fight. Let's talk about her opponent, Savannah Marshall. 12 wins, 1 loss, 10 wins by way of knockout. Savannah Marshall is she's in an interesting spot, because she fought Claressa Shields for her undisputed title, and then she is right back, another opportunity to become undisputed in another division. But the question is, can she get it done this time? We will see on that night. Marshall, man, she has the height advantage in this fight by a few inches. And honestly, I think this is the ideal division for her. We know Marshall can punch. We know she's strong. We know she's tough. We know she's crafty. We know she's got a lot of heart. She does a lot of things really well. Up until she fought Claressa Shields, she looked like an unstoppable force, right? Didn't seem to matter who was in the ring with her. She was knocking them out. Right? Her opponents would have a good few rounds, but then she would seize back the control and all momentum and land a punishing shot that would close out the show. Hannah Rankin gave her a good 7 rounds, but Hannah Rankin took a lot of punishment, and that was one of the best complete fights that I've seen of Savannah Marshall. She looked great in that fight across the board. Good body work, slipping and moving well, good placement in her shot. She looked great to me in that fight. In her last fight, she fought Claressa Shields. Now, what's interesting to me, right, is because the more you watch the fight, the more you kind of see that wasn't really kind of close of a fight. And the biggest difference for me in that one was the speed. Marshall was having a hard time keeping up with Claressa Shields' speed. Her counter was too quick, her movement was too quick, and Marshall was having a hard time anticipating where Shields was going to be and meeting her there. Claressa Shields was just a step ahead of Savannah Marshall that night. And I also got to say as well, too, right, when Savannah Marshall had Claressa Shields on the ropes, on the corner, Claressa Shields would find a way to work it into her favor. I don't think Claressa Shields gets enough credit for how good of a defensive fighter that she is, because she put on a masterpiece in that fight. But at the same time, man, if you've been watching Savannah Marshall, anytime Savannah Marshall connects with a shot, you know that could be the shot that hurts her opponents, and that may be the shot that takes them out. It was a much different fight when she fought Claressa Shields than what I was expecting. I was expecting a little bit more aggression from Marshall. She was a little bit hesitant to let her hands go, and Shields took advantage of that. But I don't think that will be the case in this fight for Savannah Marshall. Franchon Cruz is a good fighter, but she doesn't have the defense nor the speed like Claressa Shields does, and that's a plus for Savannah Marshall. So who wins? I like Savannah Marshall to win it because Marshall's been more active, but I think she can outbox Crews-Dezurn for 10 rounds, and I also think she can stop her too. Marshall does well against opponents who aren't moving as much, that are willing to stand and trade shots and be there with her. And Crews-Dezurn is going to want to do that. By no way am I counting out Crews-Dezurn. She's a champion for a reason. But I think at this stage in her career, I think she slowed down just a step, right? Whereas I think Savannah Marshall is still in the peak and the height of her career. And I think she has more ways to win this fight than Crews-Dezurn does. So I'm taking Savannah Marshall to win this fight. You know what? I'm going to say by knockout. I think decision is obviously the close bet, but I think that she can get the job done, especially how often Crews-Dezurn got hit, especially in her recent fight. So I'm going to say Savannah Marshall wins this fight by knockout. What are your thoughts on this fight? Who do you have winning this one? Let me know in the comment section below. If you would like to support the channel, there's a couple ways you can do so. You can like, comment, share, and subscribe to the channel. If you would like to support by way of donation, you can find options in the description below. Also, my Cash App handle will be on screen as well. Any amount goes towards the growth of this channel and will be greatly, greatly appreciated. Shout out to everybody that continues to like, comment, share, subscribe to the channel. Shout out to everybody that shares their thoughts, whether you agree, whether you don't agree. It's all love. I appreciate each of you. Shout out to everybody that has donated to the channel. It's greatly, greatly appreciated, man, and does help move this channel forward. Just started membership on the channel. Don't always get to do all the suggested videos you guys suggest in the comment section below, but if you become a member, those suggested videos rise to the top, and I will do my best to get those done for you that week. Or if you would like to become a member just to support the channel, that would be greatly appreciated as well. So with all that being said, if you've been watching the video this long, do me a favor and subscribe to the channel, and we'll definitely see you next time.